Hey guys, welcome to the video. So for the next 1 hour, I'll be breaking down Terminator vs. G.one soundtrack and hopefully find something to take away from this video. And thank you so much for the amazing response on my original soundtrack of Terminator vs. G.one. I'm really happy you guys are liking it. So let's get right into the video.
Let's start with the Terminator vs. G.one intro, guys. So there's nothing much going on in the introduction. I used some high strings. These are the Spitfire strings actually. Along with the atmosphere, kind of textural sound. This is from an Omnisphere patch actually. That's the name, yeah. Ancient World. There's another synth from UVI Falcon. So it's basically building to this moment where it says Terminator vs. G.one. It's kind of the title of the video, so yeah. And there's a CS80 string pad. These are kind of lot of Blade Runner, cyberpunk kinds of sounds. So one note is playing very low in the bass area and the others are playing the higher notes. And there's another layer from Zebra 2. It's actually Hans Zimmer's patch actually. It's called as the Dark Zebra. And next is the Terminator theme. Yep, that's basically the Terminator theme. It kind of starts off with this this is the first layer of the texture layer, and it slowly add this. There's the bass. Yep. There's the serum bass. It's one of my presets actually. And what else is going on? It's so tough because I've done this long back, like it's almost like 1 month ago or something. So I'm sorry if I'm just being very random with the explanation. What's this? Oh, this is probably something I've created. Another synth was this one. I don't know where's the original synth, but this is the one which I've bounced. This is the kind of plucky kind of sound which goes on throughout the theme. And there's a lot of processing actually. If you hear without the processing, even I don't know how it sounds. I've got to check. Yeah, it sounds more like it sounds a bit like the sine wave with a distortion, a bit of distortion, a lot less decay. And then I added this saturator. It's actually a Slate plugin. It adds a bit of that analog distortion along with this RC20. This is like super cool. And this also adds a bit of distortion. You can do a lot of things in this stuff, but I just use the distortion here. And some delay. Yeah, that's the delay. There's not much of feedback. And there's some EQ. I just cut off the low end. And there's another synth which I've added just from Acolyte. It's Serum preset again. Again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just removing the attack basically. There's a very slower attack, so it's kind of slow. It's not immediate, and it starts off very slowly. This is more like the signature sound. Where's the signature sound? Yeah, this is the signature sound. I think this is one of my Serum presets. I use a lot of Serum. It's so good. Yeah, I've designed it. I don't even know what I've used over here, but yeah. So both are same, playing the different octaves. Okay, this a cymatics layer. I think this is extra terror, and is that signature kind of melody. It's like I wanted to keep a very electric sound and very synth sound, very synthetic sound, rather than any orchestral sound, because he's a robot anyway. So yeah. So this synth was very weird. I mean, I added in the last moment of basically when I was completing the score. Let's see what I've used. Okay, there's something I've done, I guess. I don't know. It's basically an arpeggiator. Yeah, I have added an arpeggiator. That's it. And it's playing these chords. I don't know what it notes. It's playing D sharp, A sharp, B. Okay, it's playing D, B flat, B basically. Again, without the processing, it's very. It basically has a lot of unwanted frequencies, or it's taking a lot of space in the mix basically. So I just removed it and I added this RC20 again. It almost like there's an EQ. See, look at this EQ. It's like totally ridiculous. And I again added an EQ, cutting of the mids. It was kind of harsh there. And there's this lexicon reverb. It kind of gave that metallic tone, you know. A bit of the room, and it has a pre-delay, I think. Yeah, 38 milliseconds. Yeah, it's like a very small pre-delay. And I added this in phase. Basically, I'm just playing around with the phase. Yeah, it's kind of like these are just the additional layers to just keep the track sounding full. Yeah, coming to the percussion. This is one of the layer. I just bounced it out and removed the lows. Uh, yep. I didn't use damage. I guess I just loaded it up. I just didn't use it. I use a lot of Strike Force stuff. It's really good. Oh, this is damage. Oh, my bad. I used the damage, and it's probably one layer. Yeah, this is the first layer that is damage. I should probably name this. I usually focus a lot about the sound I want. I don't usually go around and name stuff. This is one layer, and this is the other layer. You get that full sound, and it's really good. And there's another fluttery synth. This is the same synth from the introduction. Yeah, this is the same synth. It's basically like a CS80 synth. This kind of synths are used a lot in Blade Runner. I was kind of inspired by that. Yeah, lately I've been really, really digging the 80s sound, and it's so good. The synths are so good. And there's a riser. It just gives a nice ending over there. This is from the Alchemy. This is like straight from Logic stuff. I'll probably play it without any processing. Sounds like a bell. And I added a pedal board. Just like the guitar amp kind of thing for Logic, which comes like with the Logic Pro X. And this is a vintage drive. It just gives a bit of body, and this other layer is like totally weird layer. It's played an octave lower, yeah. It gives this metallic sound and something. It gives like an uncertain sound and very eerie sound. You don't really. I don't know how else to describe it. And that's basically the Terminator introduction, the Terminator theme. And this is like one of the most fun part for me for this video. It's like, if you see the video, it's like there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing he's really doing. It's basically the scanning people. I'll just play it anyways, and we'll talk about it. So he basically just enters in the style of Terminator, naked, and he just breaks the door and it gets into the other compartment. He's looking for clothes to wear, and is scanning people and all. So he's just walking by there, and people are noticing who is this crazy guy coming here. And I wanted to make it really interesting. I'll just play it to you. That's the tune basically. I played it on my bass guitar, and there's a lot of processing also. If I remove the processing, it's like very boring. I mean, it's like any other bass guitar, and it's very mono also. Of course, I recorded in mono. What am I saying? Yeah, it's boring. Then I added some EQ, just removed a bit of these mids and the lows. Okay, it was kind of rumbling, I guess. And added this API and added the CLA bass, and this where the things get really interesting. Yeah. So I just pushed a bit of distortion, bit of sub, compressed it a bit. That's it. Now, now it sounds even a bit more tighter and it kind of sits well in the mix. And then I added a bit of chorus. And next I added this chorus. This is where the bass gets its body and it kind of spreads out in the mix. I'll just bypass it and I'll just keep bypassing it and I'll turn it on and you can just check it, see the difference. See, it's like straight from mono, it went to be this huge wide sound. And there was nothing much in the track if you listen to as well. There are these drums. I'll really like this rhythm of the drums. Along with the bass gear, it sounds really good. And I added this piano. Is this playing the same melody as bass? Bass was playing in multiple notes, but it was just like single notes. It's very 80s kind of sound, synthwave kind of sound. I don't know. It's actually from Splice. There's a loop from Splice actually. I had it for a long, long time. I wanted to use it and I just pulled it over here. It's really worked. And with the bass, it sounds really good. I mean, it's like they're made for each other, you know? That's basically about that. And there's some more synths on top. There's like Berlin Experience. This is basically the retro synth which you get with the Logic Pro X. These are all stock plugins from Logic. So if you have Logic, you can just pull up these synth pads and Berlin Experience will get the sound. And add another layer of bass. And this is really good. It's kind of like it gives the bass a bit of mid, kind of adds a layer to the bass. Uh, it's adding a bit more of depth, I would say. Maybe, I don't know. I like this guy's reaction. Again, I use the same Berlin Experience. I removed the high end because I already had another high end layer over here, which I again bounced. I don't know why. Yeah, because basically there's a lot of pitch shifting and Logic unfortunately couldn't do it properly. So every time it did it perfectly, I just had to bounce it out. It's very atmospheric and very weird. It's really good. What's this? Okay, this is the one with the earlier one. The intro was there, the ghost kind of sound. Okay, probably just reduce this. Probably, yeah. That's it for this. And next, there's this fight, and this fight section is totally weird again. I use this 808 actually. Let me play this. So usually 808. This is an 808 actually from Slice. It already has a kick. Usually 808s don't have a kick, but it already had a kick, and that's what actually it was really good. And I added this another layer from Silent. So this is like the first, or yeah, this is the first preset you usually get with Silent, and I tweaked it a bit and changed the ARP notes. I removed the low end as well because I already had a bass over here, so I don't want to clutter the mix, right? And there's the synth. Again, the same percussion from the damage and strike force. The same drums from before. This is again a weird synth from Arturia. Very again textural. There's nothing but the same presets of the CS80 and the flutter strings from the introduction. That's the G.one theme. And it starts off with these strings. So I use Cinematic Studio strings with some Metropolis arc. It's like, no, this is not arc. It's inspired too, I think, yeah. And there's first violins, second violins. There's some strings low. This is from the Metropolis arc 2 or 4. Yeah, I think it's 2 or 3 somewhere. Starts off with this basic ostinato. It's nothing special. Then comes this pluck layer, which I created in Serum, I think. Yeah, it's Serum. Yeah, I jumped an octave again. That's it. I'll play the strings only actually. There's some bass again. Playing the bass notes. Again, the free one. This is the one which I got free with the synchron player. Actually, the Big Bang Orchestra is basically like a whole orchestra patch. And if you play one note, it basically plays strings, basses, tuba, everything. I wouldn't recommend to use it on solo because you barely have any control. I just used it as a layer. Just kind of fills it out. That's it. You can see the difference. I'll just bypass it. I mean, I'll just solo it and unsolo it. You can just see. You'll get a real. I mean, you get that body, a bit more of that body. You already have a lot of body over here, but it just adds a bit more to the mix, and it's good. Okay, my system is having very hard time to play it. So that's basically the brass section as well. And I wanted to add this synth layer again. This sounds. There's more bell kind of sound. Bell kind of sound. Yeah. It's very 80s. But that's about it. Nothing else. And is there anything else? Yeah, the percussion, of course. The percussion again, I use the same instruments, man. Damage, strike force, and the one which I told you before, I bounce. That's the same thing. There's another. I wanted something very fast. That's the reason I added this Hans Zimmer exotic hits. It's kind of. It's not quantized exactly because the library can't play this fast. It's like 160 BPM. It can't really play that fast. But it kind of also makes it a bit real because real players can't play exact on time also. Yeah. So yeah, it balances out, I guess. It gives this nice movement to the track all of a sudden. And I removed a bit of mids. Usually this is the area where there's a lot of room sound. There's a lot of room sound actually. And percussions usually are recorded in different rooms, different spaces. So there's a reason I usually remove the mids in the percussion. When you open Logic Pro X, you get this big bass. I opened that and added pedal board. Pedal board is so good for the distortions. Like literally, you can see the day and night changes over here. See, there's nothing over there right now. Look with the distortion. So good. Like it's very crispy, very meaty. And there's another Native Instruments plugin, Phases. Makes it a bit more wide, you know. And that's the G.one theme. And I wanted to make interesting again. So this time, since I already introduced the orchestral stuff, I wanted to continue with the orchestral stuff. And this time, I'll just play it. I'll just play it. Let me talk then. Yeah. So it's like so the this is the solo violin. This is not solo violins. This is like the first violins only. It's like the first chair. That's it. It doesn't have that full sound as this one. These are the full strings, and I only played the lows. In the second half, I added more melodies. The string melody kind of leads into the climax of what's going to happen. There's the right time where he's like, "You'll be terminated." You know, that's the end of the conversation, and he moves on to use his shotgun again. So it's like without this, you'll feel empty. It's like suddenly there's not much of transition there. See, there's no transition or there's no you don't know where the melody or the film is going. And this solo horn playing. This is like Cine Brass solo horn, descent horn. I think I'm pronouncing it the right way, but yeah. And it leads when you start shooting and all. So going to the next part. This is the cue actually. The let me do my mission cue in my OST. Yep. So it's if you see the video, it's like there's not continuous action. He shoots, this guy bleeds out, kind of, you know, these cubes come out, and he's again starting to walk. Then again he reloads, again he shoots, and there's the slow mo shots. There's not continuous music, so even I wanted the music to be loud. You know, it should have a lot of breaks. You know, instead of going continuously. This is one of the keep forest from loops, prelude loops. Yeah, so that's the one loop, one percussion loop, and there's others are basically, again, I've programmed them. So when is again there's a slow motion shot, there's no drums over there, and then when he again starts to walk, again is fixed and all, again it starts. And I added few effects, you know, like downers and all. This is like the final. I mean, this is like a main shot where G.one is like pissed off because he has hit his face, right? Yeah. So then there's some other layers. Okay. Yeah. Again, the big bass layer. This one is so good. The synth. What's this? This is a Seven Skies preset. Some bank. I don't know. Okay. I think this comes with the serum. I don't know. But yeah. But I think I tweaked it a lot because yeah, these are not the sounds you usually get with those. There's the distortion lead. And there's this arterial layer when he gets shot, and this is a slow motion shot. Then I added a pedal board, some distortions, I guess. Yeah. I use this grit. Again, some brass. And that's how it ends. And the next cues and all I've done in another project file. So let me open that and I'll come back to that. Okay, guys, we are back in the other project file. So let's continue from here. So I'll just play it and explain. So this is a part of the scene, and again, there's some strings. It's just building and building towards this climax where there's this slow motion shot of the iron rod, rotating. And there's some hits. These are the trailer hits. Let me show the percussion first. Yeah. The same percussion again, damage and strike force basically. Yeah, that's the percussion part. And this is a funny thing. So there's the sound, right? You probably heard in the video. So this one I sampled from a YouTube video called as Elephant Sounds for Kids. I just sampled it and it sounds like this before I, processed the hell out of it. It's like this. It's like an elephant in the forest, basically. And this is the best sample I could find because usually elephants are, I mean, the recordings are really bad and there was a lot of wind, there's a lot of other nature sounds and all. So this is the best sample I could find and it's really cool. Let me play it again. And then I added a pitch shifting plugin. There's this actually is like how many octaves? Yeah, it's like -7. Yeah, seven semitones, not octaves, sorry. Semitones, yeah. it already changed a bit. It sounds like an elephant, but it's still different. Then again, another layer of this thing. This time I pitched it high and I increased a bit of drive. This is like again, this is auto by. It's basically a pitch shifting plugin again. Then I put the mix to, it's like it's just 15% of the higher pitch, and the other one is just the same thing. So it's basically this before and this after. It's just adding a bit more of the the higher octave. Basically, I'm just mixing instead of using another track. That's about it. And then I added a Camel Crusher again. It's like a distortion plugin. It really has that. Now it sounds more like a synth, more like a synth stab instead of an elephant. It still sounds it has that elephant kind of sound, but yeah. Then I added a steel wave vocals. I think it's spreading it out a bit more of the stereo width, and then some reverb, and it's like nice reverb. It's more like a signature sound now. Then I remove the high and low for the only the intro part, and that's how it sounds. And later it's like again it's in its full form. This is without the EQ, but everything else is the same thing. So and it fits in really well basically. Sometimes it won't and sounds weird, but now this time it actually worked out. There's some automation going on. Yeah, the same preset again. I just played around with the arpeggiator, what it's doing on what notes it's playing. That was first layer. The second layer is like more distorted. And it stops right again when he hits Terminator, because there's this reaction of G.one. It's usually like film scoring is basically everything about how you're making your music sound good with the video. It's just not about the music. Okay, my CPU is dying again. Nothing new. And this is another synth from retro synth, the same one which comes with the Logic. Add some Camel Crusher and some reverb and stuff like this. Added some brass again right before G.one, throws that ball, ball of energy, whatever you want to call. I don't remember it what it's called, but yeah. Yeah. So basically, when G.one hit him, it basically ripped the skin off Terminator, and half of the real in the metal body comes out, and there's this big reveal kind of thing. So there's the same melody when you saw this thing right over here. Yeah. The same piano melody is again music in the brass, and it's kind of like a theme for him now. And then it takes out that railway tracks. What do you call that? Yeah, it picks out that railway track and it throws a G.one. Again, I used some elephant sounds and all. And there's another bass I've created for this. Let me just find it. Yeah, I bounced it actually, but I can show it to you. Let me load it. Yeah, I just saved a preset for myself so that I don't have to process it every time again. It's really thick and sounds really really. It fits in any mix. That's what I can tell. And without the processing, it's like nothing. It's just a bass instrument. See, and then I added some chorus, some width, and then some distortion. Then I added camel crusher. It's like some chorus again, and some again. I was messing with the phase. It's making even more wider, and some compression and some R bass. R bass usually gives this so much excitement and a lot of body to the bass. So that's what it is, and I just bounced it out. That's all. And then the next cue is container room. It's kind of a big reveal. You'll get to know what's happening over here. You'll know what they're fighting for, what's inside, basically. So I wanted to keep it very minimal and very atmospheric because that was the theme basically from the start. So it start off with some pads. There's an ominous spear sound actually. I just bounced it out. That's all. And yeah, the same retro synth. This time synth pop strings. That's what it's called. Yeah, this one. Then it plays an octave higher. Slowly strings start adding up. This is the low strings from Metropolis Arc. Then I just stopped music a bit because you'll get to know what's inside, and then the music slowly starts again. Yeah, so there's some strings playing. That's like you get to see that there's the red ship and it came for that and all. And then G.one comes back again. And this is the queue won't let you take it. Yeah, I think that's that's what I named it. Yeah. So, where do I start? Again, some strike force. The same bass one which I've shown before, right? The preset which I've created for myself with all the processing. But this time I used an app. It gives a nice movement and pulse, you know. This synth is actually from Contact, from the cinematic guitars, I think. And I just pitched it up and down, you know. So you can hear, listen to it. And this synth is Juno 60 from Tal. Yeah. And let me play the original synth. Yeah, that's the reason I bounced it. So it's basically playing in the wrong pitch because it's kind of bugged. So sometimes it just plays the right pitch and sometimes it doesn't. So that's the reason when it played the right pitch, I just bounced it out. And there's brass coming in over here. And then there's some pads when there was this zoom out. Yeah, so this part, there's some trailer hits again. Along with the percussion from before. Similar bass. Oh, okay, my CPU is not really taking it, but these are the drums. These are the addictive drums. And these are the guitars I've recorded. Yeah, these are really, really distorted. With all these, they still probably sound clean. They're less exciting, I would say, or they're not really cutting through the mix. That's the reason I added these. And there's this pause where, you know, they hit their legs and they kind of are in pain. And this final one where Terminator pushes this guy, G.one. He just throws him and there's this cut. So I just stopped the music there. So I was just playing around with the same. I just introduced everything over here and I was slowly breaking down stuff. So there's not much going on over here. The same thing repeating and all. And there's this cut and they're all tired and just waking up again. They're getting conscious again. This is the 2.2 activated cue. I wanted Chitty's entry to be really good, and that's why I worked on the guitars. And it starts off with the synths with the same bass which I've used before. but this time I just filtered it out, you know. There are drums again. Sounding really good. And these are some takes I've taken, you know, just doubling it up. I have this distortion pedal which I've got. I forgot the name, but yeah. So I have the input from that to my QAD Apollo Twin, and it comes over here. So it's like really, really distorted, and I like it in a good way. Usually, I won't definitely won't recommend recording it this hot. You know, it should be really like around -6 dB or -8 dB. But I just recorded it because it sounds like analog distortion and all. I just play again without processing. You can see the difference. It still sounds good. It's a bit loud, so that's the reason I can reduce the volume and all. But overall, it's just that. That's about it. And this was the score, man. It's totally almost like 9 minutes, 9 minutes 30 seconds and all. But it's like I just enjoyed every bit of it.